Good afternoon, everybody. It is always a good morning when our governor shows up here in Allegheny County, and we couldn't ask for a better backdrop. Our beautiful downtown, but also our amazing PDP clean team. Can we give them a round of applause? I actually see so many familiar faces because when I'm walking downtown, they're super friendly and introducing themselves and just making sure everyone feels safe and welcome downtown. Before I kick off my remarks, I just want to acknowledge and thank some elected leaders who are with us in the audience today. So we have County Controller Corey O'Connor, who's here. Please wave, thank you. And County Councilman Jordan Boda is also here. Thank you, Councilman, for joining us. We also have DCD Secretary Rick Seiger, my Director of Economic Development, Lauren Conley, the Executive Director of the URA, Shushila Numani Stanger, and of course, so many of you who are valued partners in this work that we've been doing downtown, from government to business, philanthropy, union labor, and our nonprofit communities. Thank you all for your continued partnership and focus on making downtown the best place that it can possibly be. You can give yourselves a round of applause. So we are here today to celebrate the incredible progress that we've made in tackling some of the pressing issues that will help make downtown feel more safe, more welcoming for everyone who lives, works, and plays down here in the Golden Triangle. Since I took office last January, and since I stood with the governor nearly 1 year ago to announce this historic investment in downtown revitalization, we have made massive strides in increasing outreach and assistance for our homeless neighbors in downtown Pittsburgh and on nearby trails. Compared to last summer, the number of tents and structures downtown and on city trails have dropped by a whopping 93%.
Amazing.
93%, that's a dramatic reduction. And it's a reflection of the persistent outreach, housing placements, and closure of major encampments in ways that prioritize safety of the unhoused individuals and getting them the support they need on their feet. This is about taking our time with human beings. And that work is hard, and it isn't fast. And instead of just displacing people and moving them around, we're actually working on building lasting partnerships and lasting solutions. As I always say, governing is a team sport. And when we address topics as complex as this one, it really takes a team to find long-lasting solutions. So I want to thank the entire team of the Department of Human Services, our city partners, outreach workers, nonprofit partners, public safety personnel, and the countless volunteers who have shown up every single day to do this work. Department Director of Human Services, Erin Dalton, deserves so much credit. Her team has done a tremendous job, and you will hear from her in just a little bit on actually how they made that happen. And you know, homelessness and addressing housing affordability and expanding shelter access and capacity is a huge priority for my administration. We have increased year-round shelter options, and we will again add winter shelter capacity for the cold months, and because no one in our community should have to sleep outside. I want to acknowledge how effective some of our creative interventions have been, like the 500 and 500 initiative, which has contributed to reducing the amount of people who are living outdoors. So this is a program that has been moving folks from our shelter system into safe and stable housing. We made a commitment nearly 500 days ago to put 500 units of deeply affordable housing online in 500 days, 1 unit a day. And I'm proud to say we're not even at day 500, and we've housed more than 500 people through that program. And it's, at the end of the day, it's about stabilizing people. It's about freeing up space in our shelter system, and having our outreach teams be able to go out and work with the folks who have the most complex cases. And another key point of this program and the success that it has created, so 97% of the families and 98% of single adults housed through the 500 and 500 initiative has not re-entered the shelter system. They are stabilizing, they are building back their lives, and they are growing roots in our communities throughout Allegheny County. So it shows us what happens when we can give people housing, we can center their needs, and also provide a menu of supports to keep them stabilized in our community. So I'm so glad to be here to give the recognition that it deserves. Human services and public safety are critical components to the vibrancy of our region and to our economic development vision. And it's so amazing to be able to come out here and to celebrate that work that often is necessary but doesn't get the spotlight that it truly deserves. And you know, this is just adding to the incredible community investments that are happening downtown. So I'm so delighted that we are making investments in Point State Park, updates to Market Square, the creation of Arts Landing. These are going to be thriving public spaces, and we have to make sure that we continue this through line of investing in human services and public safety. And we know that we have done the important work and made important progress, but the work is not done. Sustaining momentum requires continued funding, continuing to work across silos, and create a system that actually focuses on centering people and uplifts housing and services rather than criminalization. So I ask our partners in the public and private sectors, please keep investing in these people-centered solutions. They are working, and it is because of your commitment and your help and your support. I ask our state and federal partners to support the resources needed to scale this work across the county and the region. And I ask everyone here to please keep showing up with compassion and resolve. We are making progress, and we still have more yet to achieve together. So thank you again to all our partners, and you'll hear more from Allegheny County Director of Human Services, Aaron Dalton, here in a few minutes on how they actually achieved this progress. But first, I want to introduce my friend, my partner in governing, an amazing leader to this Commonwealth and this nation, Governor Josh Shapiro.
You're awesome. Great job. Thank you. It is a beautiful day in Pittsburgh, and it is wonderful to be here in this sun-drenched city in the shadow of Acrisure Stadium, where, of course, the first place Steelers are playing great football right now. So we're excited to be here. I want to thank our county executive, Sarah Innamorato. She is a wonderful partner and a great leader here in Allegheny County, and I think her leadership here in this county is being noted in counties all across Pennsylvania as a model for strong, compassionate, get stuff done leadership, and we're grateful to you. So thank you very, very much. And I want to just thank everyone for joining us here today, roughly 1 year, as the county executive said, since we announced an historic investment in downtown Pittsburgh. The state, the city, the county, and the private sector are all working together to revitalize the Golden Triangle. That's reflected by the group that is here today, including Mayor Gainey, one of our other fine partners in this effort, Senator Fontana, the sockless senator, as I like to call him, Senator Costa, Leader Costa, and of course, my governing partner, Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis. I know we both feel blessed to have a terrific team led by Secretary Siger, Deputy Secretary Morgan Boyd, and many others in the Department of Community and Economic Development. This plan that we announced, we are utilizing $62.6 million of an investment from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to spur on nearly $100 million in investments for new apartments, better parks and public spaces, a cleaner, safer, more vibrant set of neighborhoods that will, of course, attract visitors from across the region, across the Commonwealth, and across this country in 202 days. I wanted to come back here today and give you a status update, as I promised I would about a year ago. Here's the bottom line. We are making real and meaningful progress. Projects at Market Square, Point State Park, Arts Landing, and First and Market, they are all under construction at this time. The Smithfield Lofts, the May Building, and 933 Penn Ave, well, they are all in final planning due to start construction within the next several months. It's important to note those projects are on time and on schedule. Through our investments, we're taking underutilized buildings and we are turning them into attractive and, in many cases, affordable housing opportunities that is going to bring more residents to downtown Pittsburgh. At the same time, we are revitalizing public spaces and making them welcoming, exciting spots for Pittsburghers to gather. These projects are moving fast. We are not wasting any time. And this is just the beginning of our investment in downtown Pittsburgh. What I really wanted to provide an update on today, and you heard the county exec touch on it, is another aspect of the investment that we announced last year, and that is improving the quality of life in downtown Pittsburgh. Because we all know for downtown to be truly a great place to live, we've got to invest in common sense initiatives that keep our neighborhoods clean and safe and vibrant, from street cleaning to reducing crime to reducing homelessness. Since I took office, my administration, under the great leadership of Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis, has driven out over $100 million to 500 organizations, nonprofits, and governing entities just within Allegheny County through the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, which the LG chairs for us. Those grants have funded everything from community-driven violence prevention to increased mental health supports to after-school programs. And on top of that, we have helped the city of Pittsburgh hire more than 50 new police officers with the funding that we've provided them. Some of those cops are now walking the beat across the river and in downtown. I wanted to be here today in front of Acrisure Stadium, again, home of the first place Pittsburgh Steelers, because Pittsburgh sports teams have been such strong partners in this work that we are doing. The Steelers and the Pirates have each committed $1 million to help address the city's public safety and homelessness challenges in partnership with the county and with the city. Think about that for a moment. Our sports teams stepping up to give back outside the walls of their stadiums because they understand the important role they play in this city, and we are incredibly grateful to both the Pirates and to the Steelers. You will hear in a moment from David and from Travis about the work that they've done to support our city. And I want this great city to know just how profoundly grateful we are to both of you and to your leadership teams at the Pirates and the Steelers. Thank you very, very much. I also want to note that we believe, just like they do, in downtown. We believe in making sure we solve the challenges that have kept people away from downtown for too long. As a result of all of these investments, and as a result of all of us working together, the business sector, unions, the nonprofits, government at all levels, our sports teams and many others, Pittsburgh homicides are down 30% compared to this time last year. This is a team effort with real results. And with the targeted support to build on the county executive's work, Allegheny County and the city of Pittsburgh have reduced homelessness by 93% over this time last year. Again, meaningful progress because we're working together. In fact, all of the major encampments have been closed over the course of the last year. And they've done it in a humane way, as the county exec talked about, by getting folks the care and services they need to get off the streets and into a more stable situation. I'm really impressed with the combined leadership that we have here. We're supporting great organizations like the J. Miles Youth Engagement Center, providing our young people with more opportunities for a safe and supportive place. And of course, the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, they've been incredible partners to us. They have worked together and power washed more than 3 million square feet of alleyways and sidewalks over the last year. Now when people walk around, they see clean streets and they see inviting streets. That's a big deal. Listen, crime is down in downtown Pittsburgh. Opportunity is up in downtown Pittsburgh. We are delivering a cleaner, safer, and more prosperous downtown for all. Again, a team game with real results. But hear me on this. Notwithstanding the great progress we've made over the last year, we're not stopping. And the impacts of these investments we know are just now being felt. Let me give you just one more example. Thanks to the Steelers and the Pirates, each daytime and evening shift downtown will have now 2 police officers walking the beat by the end of the year. Listen, we are not resting on these initial accomplishments. There is a lot more work to do. And I also understand that while crime is down in a meaningful way, if you've been a victim of crime, those statistics don't matter to you. You still want more police. You still want more investment in your community. And that's exactly what we're doing, because we believe every Pennsylvanian, especially every Yinzer, deserves to both be safe and feel safe in their communities. And we are working tirelessly on that. Leaders here in Pittsburgh are united behind this plan, from the county executive on down. We are grateful. This is just the beginning. The future of Pittsburgh is bright. Pennsylvania is on the rise, and a big reason for that is because of what we're accomplishing right here in Pittsburgh. I will continue to provide you with updates on our progress, from the construction to quality of life. But make no mistake, this is a great team effort. We're putting points on the board, and we're winning again here in Pittsburgh, and I'm grateful to this championship team. And with that, I want to introduce you to a key member of our team, my governing partner, Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis.
Well, first, thank you, Governor Shapiro. It's great to be with you this morning. Before I get started, I have to say, can we give a round of applause to the PDP Clean Team for all the work that they do in downtown Pittsburgh? They are a huge ingredient to the success in downtown, and I want you to know how grateful we are for your work and your efforts. I want to thank County Executive Sarah Innamorato and Mayor Gainey for their leadership here locally on this project, and to make sure that everything is going in the right direction. I also want to thank the governor and I's legislative partners, Senators Fontana and Costa, for their work and their leadership here in the Pittsburgh region. You know, it's hard to believe that 1 year ago we stood here and made a promise that our administration was going to step up for the city of Pittsburgh and for the people here in southwestern Pennsylvania. We brought together everyone, the business community, the philanthropic community, our civic leaders, to create a plan. And now we're executing on that plan. And while we aren't where we want to be yet, we're making real progress and delivering real results for the people who live, work, play, and visit downtown Pittsburgh. Some of those results you can see. The streets are cleaner, and we've helped folks get off the streets into housing. But some of those results are less visible, but no less important. I want to talk briefly about something that the governor touched on, and it's my work with the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. The things that they're doing right here in Allegheny County to help keep our kids safe and give them opportunities to learn. I've had the great privilege during our administration to lead PCCD. And one of the new programs that we launched is the Boost Initiative, which provided more than $11 million in funding for after-school programs and summer programs for our young people here in Pennsylvania. This summer, I visited one of those programs right here in Pittsburgh, SLB Radio. And I met with young people who benefited from this new funding. They're a part of a summer camp where high school students from across the region learn to produce a live radio show. And I was one of their first guests. And let me be clear, they had some really tough questions. I also visited Cafe Momentum, which received a Violence Intervention and Prevention grant to support their work, which gives young people who've fallen off the path of the skills they need to build a career and the resources to get back on the right track. Programs like SLB Radio and Cafe Momentum, or the local Boys and Girls Club, which I benefited so greatly from in McKeesport, have a tremendous impact on our young people. And these programs are essential for making our communities safer. And maybe you can't see their impact when you're walking around downtown Pittsburgh, but you need to know that they're really an important part of the solution to the problem of community violence here in Pittsburgh and across this Commonwealth. I want you to know that Governor Shapiro and I are taking a comprehensive approach to public safety. We're investing in state and local law enforcement. As the governor noted, PCCD provided over a $300,000 grant to the city of Pittsburgh to hire over 50 police officers to date. We're also investing in community-based efforts like Cafe Momentum. And we put more resources into mental health, workforce development, education, things that address the root causes of violence in our communities. And we're also encouraging our partners to do the same. The Steelers and the Pirates have each invested $1 million in mental health responders to support law enforcement and creating a dedicated youth violence intervention team. We know what makes our communities safer. Since the governor and I took office, violence is down 42% and gun deaths by firearms are down 38% across Pennsylvania. Allegheny County and Pittsburgh are seeing similar declines. There's still so much work to be done, though. Every life that's lost to gun violence is, quite frankly, unacceptable. Unfortunately, we still have some young people who are slipping through the cracks, as we saw what happened at Carrick High School last week. But I want to be clear. Our administration is committed to investing in what works and making every community safer, whether you live in Pittsburgh or whether you live in Plum. We're going to continue to keep doing the things that make Pennsylvanians, as the governor said, both feel safe and be safe in their communities. It's my pleasure to bring up someone who's been a tremendous partner in these efforts, not just here on the North Shore and on the field, but my friend David Morehouse from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Thank you, Austin. I'm going to make this short because I don't want the clean team to start dropping because of the sun. And we're happy that we were able to bring a victory and the weather back from Dublin, Ireland. So it was like this when we were over there. It only rained one day. I want to thank the governor for his leadership on downtown and the North Shore. I grew up here, and so I'm cognizant of what's happened in the last year, and it's been tremendous. The Rooneys step up when there's a community in need, and the Steelers are proud to partner here by funding additional police patrols and support the homeless. We're encouraged by the progress, which you can see if you go downtown or walk the streets of the North Shore. It's very evident. You heard the stats, and you see it when you go downtown. But I'm encouraged by the progress, committed to continuing to work with the governor and his public-private coalition, which is amazing that we were able to put that together. There's a lot of companies that are putting money into it, the government's putting money into it, and we, the Steelers and the Pirates, are proud to put money into it also. So next, I told you I was going to keep it short, so I'm going to introduce my friend, Pittsburgh Pirates President, Travis Williams.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Good morning. We had a bet on who was going to go faster. I think David may have won already. But on behalf of myself, Bob Nutting, and the entire Pirates organization, I'd like to thank Governor Shapiro, Lieutenant Governor Davis, County Executive Innamorato, Mayor Gainey, Leader Costa, Senator Fontana, and all the elected officials and community leaders that are here today, and even those that are not here today who've played a big part in this, and for their unwavering commitment to our city. Although we call this side of the river home, downtown Pittsburgh plays a crucial role for us and for all of our friends here on the North Shore. For many visitors, downtown is the gateway to our neighborhood. For others, it's a place to return after a game or a concert on the North Shore. But for all of us, downtown is our heart, pumping resources, energy, and innovation across the region. It's this awareness that drove us to answer Governor Shapiro's call to support downtown revitalization efforts that we are celebrating here today. This year, we partner with 2 organizations, which, to borrow a phrase from the great Pittsburgher Fred Rogers, are undeniably the helpers in our city. The J. Miles Youth Engagement Center, a trauma-informed safe space for youth to become the best versions of themselves. And the Office of Health and Community Safety's co-response team, a city programming providing the right responders to individuals experiencing a mental health or behavioral crisis. Both support some of the most vulnerable citizens in our community. Both directly contribute to improvements in public health and public safety. And both make Pittsburgh a better place for all of us to live, work, and play. While our financial commitment was important to their missions, we knew we were in a unique position to do even more. To us, that meant finding the right way to say thank you. So this season, we hosted both groups at PNC Park for pregame ceremonies on the field, applauding them and amplifying their stories of tens of thousands of fans and enabling them to enjoy a Pirates game. We intend to continue these partnerships with future initiatives, including a mentorship program that we're going to be starting here in the next month, as well as some workforce development opportunities as well for those that are affected. And we look forward to working with the leaders here today to deepen and expand our impact overall. So today, 1 year later, we rejoin Governor Shapiro to celebrate what we have accomplished together over this past year and to recommit ourselves, not just the particulars of the projects, but also to being a critical part of the fabric of the city of Pittsburgh. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Gainey.
Thanks, Travis. Truly, thank you. Thank you.
Ready, Governor?
Go do it.
Let's go get it. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How you doing? Oh, come on now. We got a backdrop like this. We got the NFL draft coming next year in 202. Let me see if I can say this again. Good morning, Pittsburgh. How you doing?
How you doing?
That's what I'm talking about. First, I just want to say thank you to the governor. I appreciate you accepting, adopting, and funding the plan that ultimately helped us make a better downtown in the North Shore. For that reason, can y'all give the governor a hand? But there's some others that I want to thank too that sometimes go unnoticed, that we should make sure that we thank, because without the cooperation of them, we wouldn't be here today. And I think, Governor, you said it best when we came up there, that this was the first time that you've seen the whole West on one page. So with that, I want to make sure that David Holmberg, Dan Honorado, Bill Demchek, John Valentine, Jeremy Walsh from Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, I want them to stand up, and I'd like for you to give them a round of applause for the work that they've done in helping us put this together. To the people in my office, where's Kyle at? Where's Kyle? To Kyle, thank you. Mr. Siger, I appreciate you. Where are you at? I appreciate you. Want to make sure that those that helped put this plan together and helped us carry it through, Darren Kelly, another one, I just want to say thank you. So Sheila, I want to say thank you. Without a team effort, we wouldn't be here today. The vision is becoming a reality thanks to strong partnership, like the one I shared with County Executive Sarah Anamorado. Also with the Stillers, the powerful Stillers, first place Stillers, and the Pittsburgh Pirates for putting the money up to help us expand public safety throughout this region. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for all that you've done. I also want to take the time out to think about the investments. I would like for Lee Smith, our Public Safety Director in OCHS, to stand and be recognized during this time so that you could understand the work that they put in. Trained co-responders from OCHS teams now join law enforcement on calls involving individuals facing mental and behavioral illnesses. A youth violence interruption team called REACH. REACH, stand up. Stand up, REACH. who plays a role in saving so much of our young people. And we're preparing to do even more public safety as we prepare for everything that we put together to continue to deal with homelessness, drug addiction, and making sure that we grow as a region. I also want to recognize Pittsburgh, Visit Pittsburgh, for the work that they've done in bringing tourism here. Please rise. All major encampments have been closed, creating safer public spaces, and most importantly, new housing, supporting opportunities for unhoused community. The impact has been remarkable. Tents and temporary structures downtown and along the river decreased by 93% compared to last summer. And thanks to all the hard work of OCHS and their partners, 97% of our families, 98% of single adults who enter shelters have not had to return to the streets. Y'all should clap for that. Together we show that this city can both be safe and compassionate, can move in the right direction. And whenever we bring the collaborative leadership together, we can always have power. And to our sports teams that don't get enough credit, again, I want to say thank you. Because you've shown what it means to stand up in a meaningful way, to help the unhoused, to make sure that we're getting housing. I want to thank again, we couldn't have a public safety center downtown without Bill Demchek. What I'm saying, when the private and public and nonprofit community come together, this is what we birth, a city for all. Thank you. And with that, I'll introduce one of the best commanders, and I mean this, in the city, without question. Give it up for Commander Novoselic.
It's always tough to come after the mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name's Tim Novus. I'm the commander of Zone 2, which encompasses downtown. I started downtown about 2 years ago as a commander, and our downtown public safety center had about 9 officers. Since then, we're now up to 22 officers and 2 detectives. I'm proud to say we're making progress, and violent crime has gone down in the Golden Triangle. That being said, there's still work to do. It is so important to invest in our police and make sure we have enough resources to keep everyone safe. Through the holidays and next year at the NFL draft, we're going to have an unprecedented number of visitors downtown. And we want to provide the best possible service we can and make sure everyone is safe. Together, we're working with federal, state, and county law enforcement and public safety organizations to prepare for these events. Funding from the Commonwealth and from the Steelers and Pirates will help us continue to do our jobs and have the resources we need to serve the community. I just want to say today, thank you for everyone here and supporting us and the police to give us the tools to do our job better. Thank you.
Again, this is the police working together with human services agencies. And I want to invite up Aaron Dalton to speak about the important work happening on the human services side from the county. Aaron?
Thank you. It's so nice to be here with everyone today. As the director of the Department of Human Services, I'm responsible for things like child protection, homelessness, mental health, substance use, and that's things that have a lot of crisis in them. But when I think back 18 months ago, it was really the issue of homelessness that was most keeping me up at night, most plaguing our community. When we think back, we faced 2 really big challenges at the same time. We had too many people literally living on our streets, downtown and along the riverfronts, and we had too many people literally living in our shelters who had no place to go because there were no units for them to go into. At our highest, there were up to 150 tents along our downtown and riverfronts, and today there's nearly none. And we have infrastructure to support people when those tents do pop up. And of course, they do pop up. But we work with the police and other first responders, we work with OCHS and our outreach teams, and we engage quickly, and we offer help and support. And it may take some time, but people often are then willing to take our help and come inside. We no longer have the encampments along our riverfront that, sort of quiet as it's kept, were so often places of violence against our unhoused neighbors. Not violence amongst homeless people towards our community, but violence against our unhoused neighbors. And so we're so thrilled that there are no encampments along our riverfronts today. And we didn't make this transformation of hundreds of tents to nearly none using enforcement or intimidation tactics. We did it by offering everyone help and support, individualized offers, and we did it by having the units through the county executive's 500 and 500 initiative. Without those units, without her leadership, without all of that work together, we wouldn't have the kind of flow through our shelter system we need in order to offer people help coming from the street. So while we're pleased with what we've achieved, we know that people are still struggling in broader downtown and across our community, and so we're making additional investments. We're making investments in the Resolve Crisis Team. This is an extension of our 988 system and our mobile crisis network. So they're downtown, in person, and on the north side, and they can respond quickly to crises. We've got a new team that we're launching later this fall that will work diligently and intensively with people with the serious mental illness who are also experiencing homelessness, who need round-the-clock support. Our daytime engagement centers are open longer hours, and they are real places of help and hope during the daytime. And our violence interrupters has been discussed, are active in the after-school hours and evening hours in ways that make us all safer and reduce crime. We've already heard about the historic reductions in violence. So these are the investments that have enabled the successes we're talking about today. And I think it's critical that we're showing ourselves that we can make real change on really difficult, seemingly intractable problems. We can show our community we're making that change, and we can show others who are watching that we can do this work through help and housing and supporting and centering on people and the resources they need. Truly grateful for the public-private partnership that we've heard so much about today. It wouldn't happen without the additional support. And as the county executive said, this really is truly a team sport. I want to thank so much the really incredible folks at the Department of Human Services who work every day on the street helping people. I want to thank all of the outreach teams that work alongside of us, and the housing activists and advocates who came alongside to believe in us when they were sure we were actually offering offers of help. So thank you so much, and look forward to the continuing partnership. I want to introduce Senator Fontana.
Thank you. Thank you.
You good?
Good.
It's hot.
Yeah.
But good thing I didn't wear any socks.
There you go.
It's all talk. Good morning. I think it's still morning. I'm not sure. But ladies and gentlemen, we are so fortunate to have a governor that is a true partner to our county and our city. You know, as I mentioned, it was mentioned about a year ago, the governor announced the $6 million plan to help revitalize downtown. And that plan certainly can be a catalyst for another Pittsburgh renaissance. I was reading about the one that happened many, many years ago. That was spearheaded by Mayor David L. Lawrence, who later became the Pennsylvania governor. And back then, he was able to bring together leaders in government, business, unions, universities, and nonprofits to share a vision, to share the same vision of transforming a smoggy industrial center into a modern business district. They cleaned it up. They made it safe. They brought in new and different businesses. It's certainly time to do it again, and that's what we're doing, right? Today, here in Pittsburgh, we are striving to advance that modern business model into new technologies, robotics, AI, tourism, and with Governor Shapiro's vision and investments, we are positioned to be a dynamic hub for economic growth, innovation, culture, and tourism. We're seeing this starting with the investment in the cleaner streets that have been talked about, fewer encampments, and certainly public safety investments. The governor mentioned these investments are an opportunity up for folks, and that's certainly the case, because now we see how private development has started to invest in across our city again. We all hear and see and read about some of the projects, but there are others happening that may be flying under the radar. For example, investments at Gulf Tower, Oxford Building, the new investor interest in Smithville Street, Liberty Avenue, Fort Duquesne Boulevard. Just a few I've heard about, because downtown's my district, so they all come. But it just goes on and on and on, and it's really enlightening. It's really encouraging to hear and see all that interest. And that's because the governor's action has spurred the confidence in others, right? And that's what's happened here. And you know, you need to capitalize on it. And I've mentioned, I don't want to not mention the massive investment for international tech companies in the AI industry in Oakland and Bakery Square. And it, you know, I think there's no reason why some of that office space demand doesn't end up in some of our downtown buildings. There's an upscale hotel brand that is proposing building their hotel up against the convention center. There's an opportunity to expand our existing soccer stadium into a higher level professional league and a new concert venue. Not to mention the economic development possibilities across from PPG Hockey Arena where the new FMB Tower was built. And also what is happening here on the North Shore through the investments made by the Steelers and the Pirates, just in plazas and building around their stadiums. It's all good stuff. And I cannot, you know, wait to show off our wonderful city to the world next spring during the NFL draft. So the opportunity for a new Pittsburgh Renaissance is knocking at our door, building off the commitment of Governor Shapiro that he spearheaded this time here in Pittsburgh. And so again, Governor, I want to thank you for your leadership in getting stuff done and making Pittsburgh's future a priority. So thank you, everyone. I do want to introduce the next speaker to say a few words, and that's my colleague in Harrisburg, who is the Democratic leader in the Senate, and also an important partner working for Pittsburgh, Senator Jay Costa.
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks, Senator.
Thank you very much, Senator, and thank you to everyone who's here today. More importantly, I just want to take a few moments to echo and reiterate the thanks to all the partners who are part of this conversation. When we came here a year ago, working under the governor's leadership with Secretary Siger, making certain that a plan was in place that was going to help advance Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh, and its surrounding communities. And that's what he put into place, a multifaceted, comprehensive, multi-year plan to be able to make investments in a variety of ways. And I'm really happy today. Certainly I want to thank the people who are making the financial investments. But I want to say thank you to the Allegheny County and the Director, Dalton, for the work that you all have done, because I think the most important aspect of this plan, in my view, is the work that's being done and has been done that's demonstrated on these boards here today. How we're dealing and addressing some of the homelessness issues, for example. We just didn't come in and kick out the encampments. You took steps beyond that to place people and change their lives. And I think that's what's going to happen. They become a part of our society and our community. At the same time, it's making certain that our streets in downtown Pittsburgh certainly are clean because of the great work these folks behind me are doing, but also because it creates as we amplify this part of the message, how important it is to be able to get folks to regain confidence in coming into downtown Pittsburgh, how it's going to allow it to continue to be a vibrant place, and people are going to want to come into downtown and take time knowing that some of the issues that have been addressed, the homelessness or the unhoused have been addressed. We're finding secure housing for folks and transitioning from the homelessness to the facility and into the community. That, to me, was what's important. And the statistics you provided is outstanding. And that's what we need to be able to continue to do. Create an environment, amplify the message that Pittsburgh continues to be a safe place to be, and taking steps along those lines. I know there's a multifaceted approach to this thing, but at the end of the day, this is the one we're talking about today, and I think it's the one that's most important, that's going to lead to the success of everything else. Because, you know, at the end of the day, folks aren't going to want to come downtown if they don't feel comfortable. They're not going to want to come work to the arts community if they don't feel safe. That's what's taking place now. That's what's happened. And I'm going to say thank you to all the partners who did all that. So without any further ado, I'm proud to bring back up to the stage someone who's grateful, very grateful for the investments he makes in Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and the work he's doing across this Commonwealth, our Governor, Josh Shapiro.
Thank you. Thanks, Leader. So listen, before I take questions from the media, I want to let the clean team go sit down, hydrate, take it easy. We appreciate you. You're the ones doing this hard work. Thank you guys very, very much. Thank you. And we'll catch up in a minute here. And thank you for your indulgence. I know that was a little bit longer than typical, but I think it speaks to the many partners we have, public sector and private sector. And so I'm grateful for your patience. And with that, Kayla will take a few questions from the media.
Are you taking off-topic questions?
Let's start with this. Anything?
Governor. A few of the projects that are converting offices to residential are moving ahead, but I understand that there are also a couple that are delayed. Are you able to offer any update on the projects that have?
We're moving full steam ahead on the construction projects. Several are underway, several are on time. I know there was one where we had to work to swap out a developer, but listen, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. We're barreling full steam ahead. You know my motto, GSD, get stuff done. I don't like to sit around and wait. And here in downtown Pittsburgh, again, thanks to the leadership of Secretary Siger, Deputy Secretary Boyd and others were moving quickly, and we're getting these projects built.
Was motivation for...
I'm just going to need you to speak up a little bit.
Sorry, hi. Was motivation for this makeover in downtown Pittsburgh part of an effort to attract the NFL draft here?
We were working incredibly hard to attract the draft from literally my second week in office when I drove Roger Goodell, the commissioner, crazy during the Eagles' first Super Bowl during our tenure. Sorry to mention the birds while I'm out here. But, I mean, we were all over it, and we had a coordinated effort with David, with Mr. Rooney and the entire team at the Steelers to make clear that we think Pittsburgh was the place for the 2026 draft. It also coincides with our ability to celebrate USA 250, and of course here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is where it all began. So we want to have these big signature events happening here in Pennsylvania, from the NFL draft here to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in Philly and many other events at the same time. I know that it was critically important to the Steelers, to the Pirates, to me and others, that we not just work on a singular event here, but that we work to lift up the entire downtown and the North Shore. And you're seeing today an example of their partnership with the public sector to make sure we invest in all of Pittsburgh and making sure we revitalize it. So I think when folks come in 202 days, they're going to see a number of projects, Market Square as an example, completed, and a number of projects underway. They're going to see cleaner, safer streets. They're not going to see encampments. Everybody's working together to make sure that we can put on a great show in 202 days.
Governor, obviously this is a central spot for the draft. One of the issues here in Pittsburgh has been a lot of boats left here along, I don't want to say abandoned, people just leaving them there. They own them, and it's been a not my problem on all sides. What's going to happen about this? This is sort of the spot.
We're going to work together with all the different partners, from the county to the city to those agencies under my jurisdiction, to make sure we've got a beautiful riverfront for the NFL draft and beyond. We don't want it just to be in tip-top shape for a few days. We want the standard of excellence that we set for the NFL draft to live on, and I believe it will. Anything else?
Governor, the projects not on your list are three of the biggest. Do you have a sense of when progress on them will start?
Which projects are you referring to?
Grant Building, the apartment tower by City Club, and the Porter.
We're working hard on each of those. I should note that an RCAP round just closed, and we're in roughly a 30-day comment period, and I think you'll expect to hear more from us in terms of the state investment very soon. And I know that the private sector, seeing that the state is investing, wants to invest even more. This is a place where now private sector developers want to be, and those projects are very much on our list, on our radar.
One of those RCAP applications is by Point Park for the City Club property. Mm-hmm. Do you have any sense of Point Park?
Again, we're in a 30-day comment period. I want to let that comment period exhaust, and then Secretary Seiger will have more to announce on that.
Can you speak to the local impacts of the budget impasse and how it's affecting counties here on this side of the state, communities, and also any pressure you can say you've applied to lawmakers?
Well, look, let me be clear. I introduced the state budget 241 days ago. And during that time period, the state Senate Republicans who run the state Senate, not Leader Costa, have only managed to come to work 29 days. They've literally only worked 29 session days. Again, I introduced the budget 241 days ago. I think they've got to stop prolonging this just to play politics, which is clear what they're doing. They're hurting real people, from our counties to our school districts, as a result of their games. Understand, there is $11 billion sitting in a state surplus. This should not be hard. My budget is balanced. It cuts taxes. It makes important investments. And it's long past time for the state Senate to come back to work, put 26 votes together, and send a package to the House that can actually pass the House and reach my desk. Listen, you got to propose a budget, you got to vote on a budget, you got to sign a budget. I can do two of those three things. The Senate's got to show up for work and do the third, and that is actually vote on a budget. And the longer they delay, the longer they play political games, the more people in Pennsylvania are going to be hurt. They basically have one job as legislators, to pass a budget, and they haven't done it yet. And I think they've got to come back to work and get it done.
Governor, third day of government shutdown. What's your message to Pennsylvania federal workers and families that are impacted, and what's your message to Congress, both sides of the aisle, and President Trump as it plays out?
Yeah, I mean, look, Washington, D.C. is controlled by the Republican Party. They control the White House. They control both houses of Congress. I hope that they will find ways to work together, to put the votes together, to end this federal shutdown soon. We received some guidance yesterday from OMB that helps give us some clarity as it relates to questions we've got to be able to answer to Pennsylvania workers. So let me give you just an example. We employ 80,000 workers in the state who go out and do important work every day, from those who work at Point State Park to those who help deliver human services here in Allegheny County. Roughly 7,800 of those 80,000 are federally funded. And so we got some guidance from them yesterday that gives us some assurance that we can continue to pay them, and we'll get that money back once this shutdown hopefully ends. But there are other questions and other things that I know are at risk as a result of the federal shutdown. I would just urge the Republicans to get their act together, President Trump to get his act together, and end this shutdown soon.
Lawmakers have recently faced criticism while they visit Ireland while this impasse is happening.
I'm sorry, I just can't hear you.
Lawmakers are facing criticism while they were in Ireland, while this budget is at an impasse. What do you say to critics who say, they're not prioritizing the right things?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not in charge of their schedules, but if I were these lawmakers and the governor had introduced a budget 241 days ago, I'd sure as heck be in Harrisburg doing my job, funding our schools, funding our human services, making sure our veterans get the benefits that they deserve, making sure we hire more cops like we've done here in the city of Pittsburgh. Again, they got one job to do. And the state Senate has to come back from its recess and pass a budget that can pass in the House and get it to my desk. I know Leader Costa has been ready to go to work every single day, but he can't call the Senate back into session. It requires the Republican leaders to call the Senate back into session. They should come back and they should do their jobs. Okay? Thank you all very, very much.